This can be uploaded later by our awesome virtual professional, Donica. Let's get started with gratitude or shout outs. Anything good happening in your life. It's important to start your day from a position of thankfulness and gratitude, and it sets the stage for the rest of the day. So whoever has maybe one to share with the group, I'm going to let you go ahead and put your hand up and I will call on you all at the same time. It's totally perfect. Peter, yes, sir.
Good morning. I'm just a shout out and very grateful for our new team member, Sydney Jett, who I think will be on this call. But Sydney joined our team effective Monday, and she's just diving in full force, and just really excited to have her and her energy on our team.
I love that. That's awesome. Welcome, Sydney. So cool. So cool. I will give a shout out to our Austin team. If anybody's followed the real estate industry the last couple of years, you know it's been rough in Austin, Texas. We topped the charts in a lot of things that were not good. And we have come on the other side of it. They just hit 50 million in closed and pending volume for the year. So that's a really good start 7 weeks into the year. Speaking of a good start for this year, our top agent series has been really, really great to see what our top agents doing today in order to get the results that they're getting. So this morning we have Elizabeth Gassos, which, show of hands, who knows Elizabeth? Okay, definitely a few people who know Elizabeth, which is really good. And one of those reasons is because Elizabeth's been here, you know, a hot little minute, which is really great. There's Elizabeth. Now everybody can see her. In case you don't know what I'm talking about, Elizabeth, like, how long have you, like, give us your like kind of background into this? How long have you been in the real estate industry? Why did you start? Give us like the goods.
Yeah, so started in July 2016 with Keller Williams at the office I currently am, and I joined Sarissa's team in October, which obviously was great. It wasn't called the Ben Kinney team back then, but been with Sarissa ever since 2016. Joined real estate. Honestly, I was just sick of corporate life, and I just didn't want to have a boss anymore and have someone else be the one responsible for my success. And I was also just naive. I was just like, this doesn't seem that hard. I could do that. And where I grew up, my middle school, in the parking lot was Champion School of Real Estate. So
Wow.
literally in my brain, I was like, I'll just walk into Champion School of Real Estate and be like, I think I want to get my license. Should I do it? I just give them my credit card and I started classes. Like, it was just naivete why I started, but it worked out.
I love that. What kind of corporate background? What did you see yourself doing like after high school or after college? Like what was going to be your
So I graduated college in 2009, which was a wonderful time to graduate college. So I actually just ended up working at the Apple store a couple more years before figuring out what to do. I just went to school for marketing, business administration and marketing. Just figured I'd be like a businesswoman. You know, my mom has been with her company for 30 years this year, and come from a family of teachers and entrepreneurs. So just kind of thought I'd do business. And then I worked at SodaStream for a couple years as a merchandiser and trainer. And I really like the training aspect of that job, which is kind of what I do now too. But yeah, I just didn't like not being able to be in control of my own progress.
Okay, excellent. So
Yeah.
here you are, you know, definitely you're still like apparently very young during this time. Like this was a little while ago, which is great. And you decide, okay, 2016, you're still all in, this is all in the Dallas area, didn't move, right? So you're in the Dallas
Yes,
area
Dallas area.
and you're like, okay, did you ever see your life as one day, like, I'm going to be on a panel saying that I set 30 appointments, like in the first 7 weeks of the year? Like, did you think that big back then? I just want to know.
No, absolutely not. Sarissa actually will laugh because my goal for my first year in real estate was just to replace my salaried position, which was $50,000 a year.
Okay.
Like, if
Got
I
it.
could just do what I've been doing, I'll be happy as a clam. And exceeded that, thankfully, and then learned, and then did, trainings and learned how to change my financial thermostat. But that was not the intention originally.
So original intention was like just get $50,000 so that you can not have to do that, right? Uh,
Yep.
okay. Early days of real estate. Walk us back. Early days. How did you initially build your business? Like, how did you get to here? How do you get to have past clients essentially?
Yeah. So remember, like, that wasn't my goal, wasn't to build like a giant business, right? And I was more like, I want to go with the flow. I also came from a job where I traveled 75% of the month. And so one of the goals was to be able to like go to my friends' birthdays and go to dinners and go do stuff. So I wanted to be able to still go do stuff. So thankfully I was Sarissa's showing agent to begin with. So I didn't have to really do the lead generation part. I could just focus on doing my part extremely well, which I've always really wanted to be very good at whatever I did. So I was able to really focus, and it was just like being great, getting buyers under contract and then handing it off to Sarissa. So I did that for a couple years, and then, putting things on social media and just people knowing that this is what I'm doing now and talking to them, they started calling me. So then my sphere started calling me little by little, and then just kept going from there. I joined some networking communities, specifically Keller Williams Young Professionals, where I expanded my network more, and it's just snowballed from there.
At what point did you make a conscious decision to grow your network? Do you remember at all?
It wasn't really conscious. I do remember the moment. I remember talking to Sarissa because I'm the person that's like, I want to get really good at something and then I can move on to the next thing. I don't really want to focus on 50 million things at once. It's like the whole, what is that quote? Like, a master of everything is a master of none
Yeah,
kind of
jack of
thing.
all trades. Yep.
Yeah, so I wanted to definitely focus, and I felt like I had gotten really good with the showing process and with buyers. And I wanted to get better at other things. But in our office, which I love our office, but it's the oldest office in Dallas Fort Worth. So it is since 1985, it's been open. And a lot of people have been here over 30 years, which is great. But I can't go down the hallway to Ben Baker, who's down the hallway over there. It's been in the business over 30 years, and start the same way he did. It just doesn't exist anymore. So I wanted to like connect myself to a community just so I could learn more. And that's how I found Young Professionals. It wasn't necessarily with the intention of getting referrals and growing my business. It was just like how to learn from people that were my age and my stage of life and my stage of career. Because I started at 30. So it's not like I've been doing it since I was 18 or anything. It was definitely a second career. So yeah, that was that next step.
I love that. I love that. Fast forward to today, like what do you attribute now being able to set 30 appointments so far this year? And then I guess I was thinking about you this morning. How does it compare to last year, start of the year?
I honestly don't even remember how many I did last year, but I'll tell you kind of the journey to get to where we are today. So if you flash back to 2 years ago, January 2022, very busy, right? It was kind of the tail end of like the frenzy, but it was still very much on those first 2 quarters. And without trying, I set 23 appointments in January 2022. And then I
Okay.
had my best month ever in April 2022 with 11 closings.
Wow.
Not mad about it, right? And it just kind of like happened, but I kind of attribute it to the market. It wasn't like a skills-based thing in my brain. So I wasn't trying to necessarily replicate it at that time, but I was like, okay, I know I can do this. Like I have to have better systems. And it started kind of getting out of control though. I'm like, just so much business. So by the end of that year, very different story. Q4, my team and I terminated about $100,000 in GCI. Not fun. And we decided to do Bold the end of that year. And so part of Bold, of course, if you guys haven't taken it before, is doing 100 contacts a week. And which I hadn't done all year because I was just being reactive to the business that came. So I was intentional with Bold to get my 100 contacts. And in the first 3 weeks, I called 300 people, and I just went to Brivity because I was so behind. I had plenty of people to call in Brivity that I hadn't spoken to in a long time. So I literally just called my database. And out of the 300 people I called in those first 3 weeks, 30 of them had bought a house in the last year.
Oh, whoa, that's rough.
Yeah, it
Wow.
was not cool. So I told myself, I was like, that's on me. My life could have changed with 30 extra closings. Anyone's life could have changed with 30 extra closings. My showing partners' lives could have changed, right? So it was a really tough realization that I had dropped the ball on so many people. And it was still a good year in 2022, even though the Q4 wasn't great. Like,
Sure.
you know, we still did business, but I was like, man, if I had better systems and better, you know, consistency and discipline, the opportunity was there. It's not because I lacked opportunity. And so that told myself, and like told me, I was like, I have to get better at my one thing. And my one thing is now contacts. So in 2023, well, the end of 2022, I also did a blitz. I wanted to do 1,000 contacts in the last 2 months of the year, which I don't think I made it. I think I made it to like 800, but then, you know, January and February, I think Jesus and I closed like eight people those 2 months after like that blitz. So it definitely helped. And then I just kept at it all year. All year, my goal was 100 contacts a week. I did not meet it every single week, but that was the goal. And I was conscious about it. And I literally wrote it down in a book, which I don't even know where my little book is right now. It's probably in my backpack, but I literally just write down 1, Adelina, 2, you know, and I only write down people that can send me business. So teammates don't count. People, you know, in my family in Mexico doesn't really count, right? Like they can't send me business. So I don't count them on my 100. And I also can't, my rule is I can't count the same person twice in 1 week. So it's 100 individual contacts per week. Like that was the rules I set for myself. All of
Not like
2023.
last year, 2023, right?
Yeah, that was all of 2023. That was my
I
goal.
don't think I knew this, Elizabeth. I wish I knew this
Yeah.
earlier. Okay,
Yeah.
so
I was like, I probably should have had my little book out. It's somewhere in my office. I've been gone, so I don't know where it went, but it's literally just a book I would carry around with me and write down everyone's names.
so you were
And
holding yourself accountable essentially to like getting to 100. Like your goal was get to 100 like
by
valuable
any means
conversations.
necessary. Yeah.
Yes.
So it wasn't like I have to do so many open houses. I have to do this. I was like, I don't care how that happens. It's 100. So the nice thing is too, it forced me to go out more because I was like, well, if I go to a birthday party, I have to get 20 contacts today. I'm at 10. I have to talk to 10 people at that birthday party.
Very
They have to know who I am. They have to know how to contact me. Like that's what has to happen. And it forced me, not forced me, I like going out, but like it was a great way to actually give me an excuse to say yes to some things I wouldn't have typically said yes to because I would be around new people. And it expanded my network significantly in Dallas and then also in the real estate community, right? So yeah, just did a lot, just did contacts, one thing.
so I guess like so a typical week for you now or last year would have looked like what? Like what's a typical week for you?
It's kind of all over the place.
Okay.
My like 3 like built business pillars I should say are agent referrals, sphere and past client referrals, and social media. That's all I want to focus on. I know we have a ton of other opportunities with like Brivity leads and with open houses and stuff, but after I was an ex-MBA, which is Chris Suarez's experiential MBA program for a year, I figured out that for me to feel motivated in my career, I needed fun, learning, and freedom. An open house, I'm stuck. I can't do anything. I'm just waiting. I'm not learning anything. And I wasn't good at them because I didn't like being there. While a networking event ticked all those boxes for me. And I was excited. I was excited about follow-up. I was excited about lead genning to those people. So after that, switching my mentality of just stick to what works. Don't try to do the other things that just don't work for you. Doesn't mean they don't work at all. They just other things work significantly better for me. And so it was just a matter of those 100 contacts in those buckets, just,
Yeah, and I think that's like I think that's what I want everyone to hear. Like, you're an independent contractor. You get to build your business on any proven lead gen lever. Like, somebody could be Chris Suarez and say, I want $40 million worth of production from open houses only. He did that, right? That
yeah.
was his, like, that's what he enjoyed. Elizabeth is saying, here are my 3 buckets. But what I don't hear Elizabeth say is, here are my 3 buckets, willy nilly, whatever happens, happens. No, 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 no. I'm going to get my 100 contacts from these 3 buckets and I'm going to do whatever it takes. And I think that is like, you're looking for secret sauce, that's it.
And I mean, a lot of the times you might have gotten a message from me. If it was like 8
Totally.
p.m., I was on Facebook and Instagram stories, just responding to your stories and just hoping some of you responded back to me that same day to count you guys as as contacts. But that was, and it had to be two-way conversations. And my goal, just someone that knew who I was and knew how to contact me. I did not make it specific to real estate, just just mind share. And also on social media, it helps just algorithms with, communication and stuff.
Okay,
Just 2
so
buckets.
man, I really love that because one of my questions was around contacts, and you've been very clear. Well, how do you make time for that? Honestly, like, because people hear 100, I hear 100, and I'm like, whoa, that's, I mean, I look at our numbers. I know, like, as a team, we average like probably like 38 as a team average. Like, it's not 100, girl.
Yeah.
So how do you build? I mean, you closed, I think, what was it, 18 million last year, 43 units. And I know you have built a great team to do that with. And like, how do you make time for this?
It's difficult. I'm very time blocked. Like my calendar, so I have 2 screens on at my desk, and one screen is normally just open to my calendar, so I stay on task. I do have some recurring like calendar blocks, like Brivity, for example. I've accepted I'm not the person that's going to be in Brivity 3 hours a day. It's just not possible. Even like with whatever intentions I have, it's just not possible. So my goal is 1 hour a day for follow-up. And if I don't do it, if something else comes in, I have to move it. So in my calendar, because I was out of town earlier this week, today and tomorrow, I have my 5 hours or today and tomorrow, and I got to figure it out. And if I end up not doing it, they get deleted so that I know, hey, even though that was on my calendar, I didn't do it. So I can go back and be accountable to myself in that way. And then everything else is going to be, again, those other buckets. So agent to agent events, I do a lot of birthday cards that I send out. I respond to social media and just database. Because I've been doing it long enough, I have a good database. So I can always just default to calling the database and calling past clients. We always have something else coming up on the team. So like right now, we have our zoo event that we're going to be doing in May. So if I needed to have an excuse to, reach out to a client, I can just say, hey, save the date for this event, May 4th, details to come. I don't have to have all the information. But again, if I have to meet my client deadline kind of thing, to reminding past clients about homestead exemption, there's like any reason to do it. It's just, yeah, going to see like who have I not called lately and figuring out a reason to reach out to them.
Can I ask, because a lot of times people have like, so people will walk into their business, regardless of where they started, but 100, 200 people that they knew, and they call them, the first time to let them know that they made a career change. And then after that, it's kind of a little uncomfortable for a lot of people to make those reach outs again. And here you are, you're like, no, like my business is these reach outs. How do you like outside of, I mean, is it always fun for you? Like, how would you coach somebody on all this? Like, why do
Yeah,
it
I
and how
think
to do
the way that it's easier for me is social media,
it? Okay.
because you can just, if someone posts a picture of their baby, just like, oh my gosh, you're so cute. Like, hope you're doing well. And then maybe 2 weeks later, you do it again. And then 2 weeks later, you do it again. And then you notice, oh, they like one of your real estate posts. And then you can go back and potentially start a conversation there, or you're just top of mind. but yeah, it's not going to be 0 to 101 contact. You have to build that relationship and know that you're thinking about them. And even if someone never answers you, just keep doing it because you just never know. Like I just closed on Friday, I think. Yeah, on Friday, a friend from high school. I had not laid eyes on Anne since graduation day, graduation day 2004 until our buyer consultation. So like they're watching you. So just put it out there. Like that's what my sphere does. So I just need to make sure that I'm always top of mind. I also put together a lot of, I'm the planner. So I have a big sphere in DFW and it's hard for people to get together, especially when they like are married and have kids and jobs and stuff. So I'll do like, hey, I'm going to make a reservation for brunch for 6 people on this day that works best for me. And I just send text messages out until 6 people or 5 other people can join me. It's not that hard. You just have to do it.
So how do you transition from, I'm having all these conversations to like, you still set 30 appointments in the last 7 weeks. Like, what is that like?
Yeah.
Does that look like? How do you go for the appointment? Or how do you how does it get from a contact to an appointment is my question for you.
Yeah, thankfully I've been doing it long enough to where my scripts and systems are set. I was kind of joking whenever Megan joined me. Megan's my second showing partner. And she started shadowing me on buyer consults because she watched the first one and then time for the second one. And I'm just like, it's going to be exactly the same. You're going to hear the same jokes. You're going to hear the same stories. Like, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. It's literally going to be the exact same. So I'm very good at my buyer consultation. I can do it upside down and in the dark. Like it's the same. Like I've gotten so good at it. And so it's, if someone wants a buyer consult in an hour, boom, we're there. I'm also very consistent about how to do it. So it's either on Zoom or at my office, no other options. I ask them, is your preferred time slot in the afternoon, evening, or weekend? If they say evening, I say, great. I do appointments Mondays, Wednesdays, or Thursdays in the evening. I already have a Monday. Do you want Wednesday or Thursday? Like I have time blocks where that's all I do. If I don't have an appointment set that day, great. I have the evening off, but that's what it's open for.
Okay.
And then same thing on the weekends. On the weekends, the appointments are either at 1 or at 4. Regardless if it's at a listing or a buyer, those are my appointment time slots. So I always know that's when they're going to be. Now, if I need more, if I need to move stuff around, I will, but that's my script. So it's always easy to go for. And I normally, again, have my calendar up. So I can just, if someone wanted an appointment right now, I would just swipe over to my calendar. I'm like, great, I do appointments Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Next week, I already have a Monday appointment. I already have a Wednesday appointment, and looks like I already have a Thursday appointment. Would Saturday work for you? You know, it just depends on what's best for them, but I rarely have to go outside of my set times.
Kristen, do you have a question?
Hey, yes. So all of this is so amazing. I just wanted to say that, well, I wanted to ask, have you ever had any success in like sending personalized videos to people like through social media, or have you tried that? Because I'm thinking about doing that too.
Yes, I do that all the time. So one, I don't like talking on the phone. I say it all the time. It's kind of like everyone knows I don't like talking on the phone. I love being on video. I'm a big ham. My grandpa took lots of videos and stuff of us growing up. So I just always was on video. It doesn't scare me. And also in my business, because I have 2 showing partners, sometimes I never meet my clients face to face. And like, especially if they're coming in from out of state, like, I don't know what they look like sometimes unless we do a Zoom call, like it just is what it is. And so I want them to know my face. So I'm always sending videos. Same thing with past clients. If it's just like a homestead exemption is an easy one, I'll make a video and say, hey, Jake, just wanted to remind you, you have to go get your license renew, blah, 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 blah. Like it's whatever it is that I would have sent in a text message, I want to send in video at least probably once a quarter. Because it's so much more personal and saying their names. And again, seeing my face is important. for me to do. But yeah, 100% send videos.
If you, Elizabeth, if you went backwards
Mhm.
and you were wanting to rebuild essentially what you've built so far, what would you be focusing on?
I wouldn't try to fit into the boxes I just knew I didn't like. Because I know there's like so many good ideas out there. There's so much business out, ways to get business. There's so much opportunity, and like, canceled and expired. It's just not for me. I wish I just wouldn't have tried to like fit a square peg in a round hole kind of thing when I just like was icky sitting down on the phone and just leaned into the things that I knew worked well for me. And then again, been more consistent earlier on with just a simple system. Sometimes we try to complicate our systems, and it's just like, if I concentrate on contacts, there's no problem with the rest of the funnel. Like
Mm-hmm.
my goal for the year, if you like do like the business plan and figure out what my goal for the year appointment wise is, it's 107 appointments I need to hit my goals, and I'm at 30 so far. So it's like great, right? But I have not concentrated on getting appointments. I've concentrated on getting contacts, 100 contacts a day, and that's it. So everything else is like easily falls into place.
Got it. Del, did you have a question?
Yeah, I love this. With the contacts that, and I always say also, you want to be average, like talk to 10 people. You want to be a great agent. And in our market, a great agent is always a minimum of 2 closings, 3 or 4 a month, right? That because very few do that, and you do that well. So when you pick your 20, you're very intentional. So you write down 20 people, and more than likely you already have a relationship with them. So you do that. When you go into Brivity and you do your 1 hour in Brivity, and you said you're going to, how do you, because you probably have a pretty big database, how do you approach that? And what's the method to your
Yeah.
Brivity database? I'm curious because I think a lot of us struggle, a lot of our agents do in that area.
You're gonna love this. I do the Brivity 10 steps. I go to my news and then my hots. And then thankfully I have Michael, my assistant. So he will go in there and see who's opened the market report or who's opened listing alerts and set tasks. And then I do my tasks. And my rule for him and me is if I already have 50 overdue or due today tasks, he no longer has to set those tasks because I'm behind already. So that's kind of our gauge to not him just waste time if I'm not going to call the people. But that's normally the cycle it goes into. If I happen to get past that, then like the rest of the steps are there for me. I have them saved in Brivity as search filters. So it literally says step 1, step 2, step 3. So I just go step 1, my news, step 2, this. So yeah, it's not reinventing the wheel. I'm just doing what I'm told.
So you follow the systems, which I love. And it's one of the things I just wanted to hear. You follow the system, you get through it, and you hit your contacts. Awesome.
Yeah. And like, I don't I never hit all 10 steps. Because there's too many people to call, which again, not a bad problem to have. One day, I keep saying like, one day I'll call all my contacts. But whenever you're setting an appointment every single, like for a while, for the first 45 days, I set an appointment every single business day. And so it's like, that's the goal, right? The goal is to set an appointment every day. So if I want to take the evening off, I'm going to, because I did my job that day. And I don't want to work 12 to 16 hours a day in order to like get the systems done. Like if you reach your goal at 10 in the morning, then that's your reward. You've earned the right to some time off. So
I love that. So you have a very clear, this is how I win the day. And me setting this appointment like is winning the day. Like you are, what I'm hearing is you're clear on your values. You're clear on how you win the day, and you're clear on the domino that knocks over everything else. 100 contacts a week.
Yep.
You guys, like business is simple. We always say it's simple, not easy.
Not easy. Like I said, sometimes it's 9 p.m. and I'm messaging all of you, hoping you message me back. so I can get a contact in.
As we wrap up, any other advice that you would share with everyone on the call?
Uh, yeah, someone else asked me this yesterday too, and they were like, what advice do you have someone that's starting out? And I'm just like, number one, find what you like to do. So yes, you might have to explore like the pie of like what lead generation you like, explore it, but then pick one, do it for 6 months very, very well. If you love it still, keep doing it. If not, try something else. But like, try to do one thing super well when it comes to lead generation, and then contacts. That's it. That's really the secret sauce, is just like find something you love showing up to work for and then do it consistently, which is hard. It's a hard thing to do. I'm not saying I'm perfect at it. It's, again, I'm year 8 now in real estate, and my goals are always just like consistency and discipline, which is so hard. But yeah, that's it. Everything else will fall into place.
So I hear mastery matters to you.
Mhm. Yes.
Mastery matters. So it's not pick something like I'll use open houses as an example. Love seeing people, love getting out there, love that people are coming to me, and I'll do one a week. Like that's not your level of mastery. Okay.
And not an efficient use of time either. Like, I was talking to Megan about this because her one thing is open houses. She was like, yeah, I'm going to do 2 open houses this weekend at the same house so I can, be more efficient with like the signs I put out and the materials we have prepared. I'm like, great. Another thing you can do to be more efficient is hold 2 open houses in the same neighborhood on the same day. Again, you get the same like efficiencies from those signs, and like you already have the neighborhood stats. So just do it that way. So yeah, trying to find efficiencies later on though, like figure out how to do what you do well and then figure out how to do it better. Don't try to do it, get an A+ on the first time. I'd rather you get, a C every day because you're showing up every day, and then you slowly like get really good at something.
I like
instead
that.
of not doing it.
Build your effectiveness in what you're doing. And then once you are good at it, then you create your efficiencies. Like
Mhm.
don't change it around. And at the end of the day, it's 100 contacts a week gets you to long-term have the results that you're looking for.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll wrap with one last question. Here's the deal. You've been doing this for 8 years. Like most people just want to graduate out of having to do 100 contacts. I'll call it what it is. Like we want to graduate out of doing like the work. So like why haven't you stopped? Like, I mean,
Well,
short of retiring, I guess.
Well, first I love getting to the point, like right now my team, so Jesus and Megan are who work with me. Jesus has been with me since 2021. And now my goal is just to give him buyers, to get to the point where I'm just, here you go. I'm only going to service either a certain area or a certain price point, and then just be able to pass along business. And then the nice thing about keeping and doing this is now we have repeat and referral business even more because we've gotten so good at it. And so again, if he was my showing agent with someone, it's much easier to be like, great, like Jesus has availability right now. They already know him, and it's going to be easier to give him those kinds of business. And my goal is to kind of graduate. I'm doing more teaching and teaching certifications to be able to travel, which I like doing, and teach to just bring back referrals for our team. Out of those 30 appointments, 70% of them are agent referrals.
Wow.
And like not bad ones. I have one under contract right now at 1.2 million, and a listing coming at 900,000. Like they're good referrals. So the better I service those clients, the more higher caliber business comes our way. So yeah, not mad about it.
I love that. I mean, we could definitely spend a whole lot more time together because
And there's a couple people that have been wanting to ask questions, I think.
Kristen, do you still have a question, or did you?
Oh, I thought it was...
Actually, I just thought of another question. So what is like, how do you go about getting referrals from other agents like out of state? Like, are you actively calling them, introducing yourself, reaching out to them? Like, how is it a thing to get multiple referrals from agents all over?
It starts with showing up, number one, always on camera, always at your computer when you can be. always participating, always in the chat. No one's going to remember you if your camera is off and you're not talking. No offense to those who have cameras off and not talking. I'm not going to remember you. I'll remember Kristen Pugh because I see her name, I see her face, right? She asks questions. And then you just keep showing up, and then you create contact, give value. So for example, anytime I see someone that says, hey, does anyone have, I just did this yesterday. Someone said, does anyone have any showing agent responsibilities sheets that they can share? And I just said, hey, send me an email. As soon as I'm back on my computer, I'll send it to you. One person asked for it. I got 6 emails yesterday from agents asking for it. So now that's 6 contacts that I got from answering one question. And then I can keep following up. Hey, what did you think about this? Did you like it? Blah, blah, blah. Did you end up using it? And it just creates rapport, but I'm constantly trying to give value.
So good. Thank you.
I love that. What a perfect way to wrap this. To everyone who was on, and I know AT&T had the outage, you guys rock, and thank you for investing in your business. At the end of the day, you are all business owners, right? And I think what sets Place apart overall across the board isn't that you joined a team, like you actually partnered with the best way forward for your business to generate as much income and as much joy and as much freedom as you're willing to put into it, because Place will support you in getting there. And what I love from Elizabeth today is she built a foundation, and then she built mastery, and then she just now starts doing like the things that she values most, which was, I remember, freedom and fun, right? Were those the two that you—
Freedom,
okay.
fun, and learning. Yeah.
Freedom, fun, and learning, 1000%. And that is across the board in everything that she does, right? So you can build a business by design, not by default. Like that is a real path forward. And like, it's still work. It's still 100 contacts a week. It's not, you don't graduate out of working unless you want to retire. And if you're a trust fund baby, cool. Like I'm not, so I'm still showing up on Thursday mornings.
And sometimes, like I said, some weeks I don't hit it, but I'm conscious of why I didn't. So, because I'm just like, oh, I'm down 40 contacts. What did I do? I was like, oh, well, I was one full day in a class, or, I did a photo shoot on the 3 days this week and blah, blah, blah. At least I am understanding of why not. And I'm not just like, I don't know. Right. So.
Yeah. Self-awareness is huge. Do we have a YP group at Place?
So yes, we do. It's called FIRE, the Future Innovators of Real Estate. If you go to the Spaces portal, everything, we're still definitely having our meetings. Everything's kind of up in the air with the calendar thing still. No one's talked to us about it. I don't know if anyone else knows about it. But yeah, we did a networking event last month, which actually was really fun and really got to know each other. And again, that's a great way to make contacts. In that group, there was maybe 10 of us on. And that's 100% of contact. We had one-on-one conversations. I know them. I know what city they're in. I know their service. I know their specialties. So that's a great efficient use of that time. I wouldn't count like being on this call as how many people are on, like 50 people. But I do count it as 10. That's my rule. If I'm on a call like this, it just counts as 10 people. I don't try to. I think at least I got through to hopefully 10 people, and 10 people know me a little bit better. So that's actually another way I get a lot of contacts too, is by volunteering my time to do Zooms with different market centers or different teams.
How do people get in touch with you, or how can people connect with you?
Yeah, my information, I'll put it in the chat, but Instagram is great. Obviously you can't call or text me today because I have AT&T, so I don't have anything. We're about to rebrand, so I'll put my current email here, which should still be active, but that's going to change in a little bit, and then it will help if I spelled my name right.
Elizabeth G at bankingteam.com.
Yeah,
right?
team.com. Yeah. And then I'm at That Nerdy Realtor on Instagram.
I love that. I love that. Elizabeth,
And then on TikTok.
You're awesome.
Full name.
Elizabeth and I are working on an event for the Austin area coming up this summer. So if you like Elizabeth and you'd like to see her in person, Elizabeth and I are working on something together. So again, which is awesome because that for her is going to be fun and it's going to be learning and it's
Like,
going
checks all my boxes. So of course
it
I'll be
does
there.
click all your boxes. So I love
Yeah.
that. And then for everyone, next week we have another top agent, this time from Alaska, joining us,
Nice.
seeing how they are building their business and what that looks like. What I want you to get away with, take away from these calls is the business pie or the business lead gen levers at place. Anything you choose will work. Like you give any piece of this lead gen lever, anything, 100 contacts a week, they will work. Like, and you will see Elizabeth does it this way. Mary
And I
Lee,
started 5 years ago with agents, right? But would you be consistent at something for 5 years if one day you literally don't have to do anything but answer your phone for a lead gen? It's pretty sweet.
100%. Putting in
Yeah.
the work works. Putting in the work works. And
Works.
I want everyone to be inspired by different people and take away from it that putting in the work will always work, but you've got to be consistent in what you actually choose. So choose it, do it, and let's high five. Love it, guys. We'll see you next week. Elizabeth, have a good rest of your day. Enjoy that brevity. And we will see you guys next week. Thank you so much for investing in your business. We'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.
Bye.